Hi there, this is Nicole DeBoer, also known as Lieutenant Ezri Dax from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And welcome to Star Trek Fleet Command.
Fancy intro music, yeah! Woo! You know, I had another video planned for today, but I got to thinking, and really, the one that we're going to do today is really overdue. I mean, it's come to a point where I understand the arguments against it. I understand why you might not want to do this if you're Star Trek Fleet Command or Scopely or whatever. But something needs to be done about these officers, specifically the one that's behind me. You can't see her right now. There's actually two of them. But I want to talk today about hostile crews. Now, many of you understand how they work, and if you don't, just a real quick refresher. If you've got a max Chen tier 5, which is an uncommon officer, there are people in the 20s and 30s who have that, pretty regularly. If you haven't got that yet, make sure you're trying to grind for it. And we put out many videos about trying to make that process a little easier, though it's not, you can't just do it like that. But anyway, a max Chen with Pike Moreau or Picard Beverly will take down the opponent's damage, a red hostile, by 96%. So you're taking 4% of the damage from them. Yeah, that's just fantastic. And then T'Lann does a similar effect to interceptors, though not as great. Now, real quickly, I will pull up these officers for you because I actually have both of them maxed. And here's T'Lann. First off, you'll see objective defense lowers the kinetic weapons by 20%. That is for hostiles. This is extremely useful. Now, it's not as good as Chen, who is 30% maxed. So 20%, if you did Pike, Moreau, T'Lann, would be 20 times 2.2 plus 30. So as you can see, it's not as good, but still relatively decent. Versus what we're looking at here with Chen, which does amazing. I mean, it's the reason that people use her versus Soul Traders, versus use her versus any trader, versus any battleship, any explorer hostile. And while they went and had like, yo, we got to nerf her, she's too good, nothing doesn't work too high. We gotta limit the success rate of Chen. But the truth is, they've done good things in the game. And when I'm saying they've done good things, I want to talk about how they've added hostile crews. Because before it was 2 crews, and honestly, they were pretty difficult to get. You had Cadet Uhura, Cadet McCoy, and then Chen/T'Lann. Now, if you don't remember those cadets, we'll bring them up real quick right here. So here's Cadet Uhura. Her captain's ability was scan the enemy, decreases the weapons damage of the opponent's ship by 10%, works the exact same way that T'Lann and Chen do for these hostiles. And then you could mix it with, wrong way. You can mix it with Cadet McCoy, who then, right here, Psychologist, would boost the captain's maneuver. So you'd get the synergy bonus plus the captain's maneuver boost and get a significant damage reduction. It's not as good as Pike Moreau T'Lann or Pike Moreau Chen, but it is still very effective. So we had those two for the longest time, where everybody had the cadets, but you struggled to really work to get into Pike, especially if you didn't get how important Pike and Moreau were. Maybe you didn't work on that in the transporter pattern store, but at some point, everybody's gotten in their heads, we need to get Pike. So Pike Moreau T'Lann and Pike Moreau Chen, or Cadet Uhura, Cadet McCoy, those were the two. Now, they did a great thing. Recently, a couple arcs ago, if you look at the very beginning arc, I've talked about this in videos where the first arc of the Next Generation was kind of built around redesigning the game, opening up to new players, and doing so, you also gave them a new set of starter officers, which would be these Next Gen sets. These are basically Season 1 officers. If you go and look at them, like we'll pull up Next Gen LaForge, that's Season 1 LaForge when he had the command uniform and the stupid zipper and all that other stuff. And there's your Lieutenant Junior grade. See his rank? Yeah, Harry Kim doesn't get promoted, but this guy does. He went to Lieutenant Commander. Anyway, this is essentially Cadet Uhura. Same exact copy and paste of the cadets into new stuff. And most people might call that lazy. I actually have no problem with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that it was great. It gives new players even more excitement about the game and a better connection to the game than the Kelvin timeline does, because not everybody has watched or even likes the Kelvin timeline. Even if I do, I realize that's not the majority of people. But most people love the Next Generation. I keep looking the wrong way. Most people love the Next Generation. So getting LaForge and Crusher is great. And then, of course, you had LaForge, there's Troy, and the Next Gen Crusher is McCoy. So maxing her out. Now, I don't have her maxed out on this account because, well, My main account doesn't need it. But you could start this game with the cadets and the next generation officers. I've actually done it on my level 19. I have both. I don't have Pike Moreau or Picard Beverly, but I do have Cadet Uhura, Cadet McCoy, and LaForge and Crusher. I've got both of them. So you've got that set up. But here's the big issue. When it comes to grinding, we now have 4 combinations that can pair with the hostile officers. We still only have T'Lann and Chen to this day. That's all you can use. And the difficult part is, like today, Faction Hunt is out. The regular Faction Hunt, no tickets. Regular Faction Hunt is here. And yet you still can really only be super efficient with one ship, kind of a second ship, if you can run, say, Picard, Beverly, T'Lann. And then you just kind of have to run stuff like Jayla and mitigation runs to try to take as little damage as possible and attack with other ships. Because I like to do my faction hunts 3 or 4 ships at a time so that it doesn't take hours. Oh gosh, it's so annoying how long it can take. And this is just a problem. Look, I understand some of the reasoning. And for those wondering, 6 minutes into this video, what are some of the reasonings that I'm referring to? And I know Ripper said this, where you're worried about if you've got a max Chen and then you had a second one and you're worried about breaking the back end of the game and the math. Cool. I get what you're saying. And I think an easy way to rectify that for me personally is you bring out Chen T'Lann variants, except you bring out an uncommon T'Lann and a common Chen, so that the common Chen version maxes out at 20% and the uncommon one goes to 30% like Chen does. That way you are not getting the ridiculously overpowered numbers that you might get before, still staying in that threshold of okay, but still giving people the ability to do more. Because you talk a lot. I mean, the game has said we want to lower screen time. This is how you lower screen time. You give a secondary option, even if you don't make it as strong. It's okay if you've got a second version of Chen that's not as good as the original. If your worry is breaking the numbers where you're going like above 100% or something, or you're negating damage completely, fine. Don't make it as strong, but still give it an option, because even a 20% Chen, even a 15% Chen with Pike Moreau or Picard Beverly would be better than most other loadouts that you can put out into the game for hostile hunting. And it's just not something that I think needs to continue to be put on the back burner. It's something that really has to be a focus. We're getting so many great officers for things like fighting armadas, for PvP, but this is still the most important part of the game. Like, this is what eats up most people's time, hunting various hostiles. And if you really want to improve the quality of life, if you want to improve player experience, and at the same time making things better, taking eyeball time away from the game, or at least allowing people to spend that time doing more important things, well, you need to have variants of these officers. And, you know, really, like I said, should have made this video a long time ago, but with the continued deluge of officers, and look, let's go ahead and mention this real quick. These officer packs need to be reworked. There's absolutely too many in the Ultra and Premium. And one thing that I suggest, and please comment down below if you agree or disagree, they should split this in half. Take half the officers in the Ultra Recruit and make an Ultra Recruit 1 and an Ultra Recruit 2. They cost the exact same, literally no difference except the officers that are inside, so you don't have a bonus of having more Ultra Recruit, you just have multiple options. Pick one. And I know Scopely, they have a value on each of the officers, they have a value on what they're worth. Take y'all's predetermined values that you won't share with us and say, hey, here's number 1, here's number 2. Choose which one you want to pull from today. Do the same thing from the Premium, because they're simply getting overloaded with officers. It's taking longer to get through stuff. And it's not that I don't like these officers. I love that 10 of 10, 5 of 10, 6 of 10 are in the Ultra Recruit. But there's also Crass, King, Charvinick, Mitchell, Marcus Carroll, Eurydice, Mud, Pike, Kirk, Gorkon, Nero. I mean, there's just way too many. That's just the epics. What about all these rares we've gotten filled up with? Once again, these are good officers. I'm not complaining that they're there, but it's becoming so hard to get through this, where at least that would give us a little bit more ability to focus on what we're unlocking. And then, of course, adding more to the transporter patterns, which I know is something that they've discussed internally. These are issues that I think are very important to start working on, because we're getting so many officers, yet we've got to make it easier for the players to enjoy those officers, use those officers, and as always, well, to live long and prosper. Stay safe, other Space Cowboys. If you enjoy this video, I need to know in the comment section below. I need to know your thoughts. And if you agree with this premise, then, well, the best thing that you can do is share this video out with everybody, get the word out, submit it in surveys, bug the heck out of them, and demand. Don't just ask, demand that they make these officers more viable for you so that your everyday play can get better. And if you have a better idea than what I've said, drop it down below. And if y'all see a better idea than Rev Deuce's, then smash the like button on the comment and this video. We'll catch you on the next one where we've got a lot of exciting stuff planned. Hope you enjoyed the blooper video yesterday. A lot of y'all left positive comments, so make sure you check out the live streams when they're happening too. Y'all are awesome. We'll catch you the next one. Deuces, that's me. See ya.
Remember, Spock doesn't go on the Enterprise. Live long and prosper. All the best.
An even better outro than the intro for the Empire and glory to your house.